usually do with our soloists is I tell them with a theme, and I often give them some song ideas and suggestions. And Diana came up with a couple, and there wasn't anything that was really fitting. But lo and behold, Abracadabra. She comes up with these two perfect songs, Living in the Moment by Jason Mraz, and the second one you'll hear after the talk is called Speak Life by Toby Mac, M-A-C. I also recommend listen to the words again by going to YouTube. Go to Jason Mraz, Living in the Moment, and Speak Life by Toby Mac, M-A-C, because they speak really well of today's talk, which is called Abracadabra. So that was great that you just swung your abracadabra. And who knows what abracadabra means? The word actually means, the definition. What was that? Oh. No, actually, abracadabra means I will create as I speak. I will create as I speak. That is powerful to know that abracadabra means I create as I speak. And so last couple weeks, I have pronounced you all to be spiritual scientists because we are doing the Pam Grout E² book, which is all about these experiments. And you've all been wearing your lab coats and doing the experiments and getting your results from these 9 energy experiments that prove that your thoughts do create your reality. But today, I am going to now pronounce you all spiritual magicians. Okay, so you can all get your magic hats and your capes out. And you're all spiritual magicians, and the truth is you've always been a magician. Because the truth is you are always creating by what you think and what you speak. And the truth is, how many of you knew that you were a magician? Oh, well, a few of you. Very well, they're like, of course I did. And I want you to know that who you think you are is not really who you are. Who you think you are is so much less than who you really are. We think of ourselves as a body with a personality, with a lifespan of, 70, 80, 90, 100 years or something to that effect. And we are limited in our thinking and our beliefs for a lot of different reasons. But we're so much more, and we don't get it. We really just have this limited view of ourselves. So I'm going to give you an instruction. I want you to sit perfectly still. No moving. Okay, how many of you think you were actually sitting perfectly still? Some of you raised your hand. Well, the truth is, you can't be perfectly still, because the truth is that you are energy. You are particles of energy that are continually moving and vibrating. Everything in the universe is energy. That is what she's talking about in this book, this field. She calls it FP, the field of potentiality. I'm now calling God FP, which for me, it's the friendly power that is totally, we're doing this because last week I talked about God is not a person. God is a principle that works all the time for everyone. It becomes personified, this principle that what we think, feel, and whatever we're creating. We're made in the image and likeness of this creative principle. And we get to energize it. We get to make our lives by what we're thinking and feeling. And that is astonishing, and we don't really probably realize the extent of our power. And the idea for this 7 weeks, is to really start to get how powerful we really are. See, all there is energy. It's particles of energy that are slowed down. This looks solid, right? It's not solid. When you boil it down, it's actually energy, little particles, and neutrons and protons and nucleus and things that are vibrating. Matter is energy slowed down. Einstein said that, E squared equals matter, it's just slowed down or it's speeded up. So our thoughts and feelings are the vibration that are sending out wavelengths of energy. And we hear of the law of attraction, where we can create things and bring them in. I don't believe it's so much the law of attraction as it is the law of vibration. What you're vibrating at energetically in your feeling and thinking zone is being brought to you. That is why sometimes, we'll talk more about this, but you're praying and saying, this is what, and affirming, I have this in my life. However, I've got a different thought around it. The experiment number 3 that's in your book is called the Albee-Einstein principle. Albee, as in Albert Einstein. One of my favorite quotes, and it's also debatable whether he quoted this whole verse, but I love it, and it's often put out there, and I believe it. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want. When you match it, you cannot help but get that reality. It can't be any other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Now, back when I was learning this with Mary Morrissey, and she would talk about vibrations and such, and I was calling in, and she called it 120 megahertz was your ideal. Hello, there's the vibration, God calling. So I was single at the time, and I was going to be calling in my ideal love, and so I had I was thinking 120 vibration is what I'm going to bring into my life. Well, I did bring into my life a partner, and it worked for about a year. And what I realized at the end of that year is that it was a 115 vibration. And part of the reason is because I was a 115 vibration. I can't have a 120 vibration if I'm vibrating at 115, right? There's things that we're missing in me, therefore we're missing in the relationship. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so it's this vibration of what I'm choosing to be vibrating into and feeling as if it was so is what's going to show up in my life. This is physics, not philosophy. We are all energy fields in a bigger energy field. And every one of us, we're one. Why do we appear separate? Is because we're vibrating at different wavelengths. Isn't that an interesting thought? When you think about notes on the piano, for instance, you have all these strands, but a note C vibrates at a different wavelength than B flat, right? So they're all strings, but there's a different vibration. So we're all magicians, always attracting, and either attracting or pushing away by our own energy, not creating anything, because we don't create. We pull out of the energy field what is already there. Everything already exists, right? And I talked about that last week. So it's my wavelength, it's my frequency. And that is why I don't believe in prayer requests. I don't believe in prayer requests. I'm not asking for something. I'm saying it's a prayer revealment. I am choosing to be open, and I like to say prayer makes me aware of what's already there when I declare. Prayer makes me aware of what's already there when I declare. So in Pam Square's book on, go to page 81. Anytime we look for an answer, we make the false assumption that the answer isn't already there. Intending love or happiness or some other desired goal defeats the whole purpose. So if I intend to have something, I'm actually telling the universe I don't have it, and it's going to reflect back to me. It's a stretch of your imagination, but you all have an imagination, right? So you get to exercise that, one of the 12 powers of Unity's teachings, but you get to use your imagination to feel as if it was already so, and to feel what it feels like, because it's already so. And you don't have to do it 24/7. There's a book called Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn, and it's the astonishing power of feelings. And she says, all you have to do is think about and feel for 20 seconds what it feels like to have the thing that you desire. And when you're sending out that vibration, as long as you don't have a whole lot of conflicting vibrations, that's where we get in trouble. So she goes on and says, praying is not a matter of bribing God. It's simply understanding the higher laws that override the lower law of the physical plane. To plead or beg or act like it's not there is to suppose duality, not unity. And unity is what we're aiming for. You have to live with the assumption that your intention has already passed. You have to feel as if it has already come to pass. This is spiritual energy. This is spiritual magic that you get to do. If you know that you can feel as if it's already come to pass, it doesn't matter if it comes to pass, because what you think is what you're, it's so interesting, the inside out. We think, if I get this, I'm going to feel this. Well, we do it back the other way. If I feel this, I'll have this, but I don't even need to have this because I'm already having the feeling that I wanted, that I thought that was going to give me. You with me? Yes. This isn't for, the meek and mild. It's like, what? Yeah, you got it. So we have to feel it's come to pass. So, for instance, you hear me at the benediction. I always say, and my prayers are, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and I want you to say that with me. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then you get to say the thing that you are so happy and grateful that has come to pass. For instance, I'm so happy and grateful now that I've had surgery and I am able to breathe freely, and everything is now clear and light and joyful in my breathing. For instance, I'm so happy and grateful that I have the love of my life with me now, and we get to do all kinds of fun things. We hold hands, we go to dinner and movies and travel together in our RV, and it's just a delightful life, and I'm so happy and grateful that's happening. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm experiencing more peace in my life than I've ever experienced. This is examples of what you can do. I'm so happy and grateful that I have more friends and greater connections than I've ever had. When you're writing out your prayer revealments, I'm going to change the words because I actually have on there prayer fulfilled instead of prayer request, but now I want to change it to prayer revealment. Start off your piece of paper that you're writing on every Sunday and say, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then you write something in there. Marietta does it very well. I always know her prayer because she does it that way. So to be a great magician, we have to feel it. And we need to give thanks as if it's already happened. That's why Meister Eckhart says, the only prayer you ever say is thank you. I think the only prayer there is thank you. I'm so happy and grateful now that. So how many of you want to be a great energy magician? Guess what? You already are. You cannot not be a great magician because you're creating all the time, 24/7. The goal is, how can we pull more of what we love out of the field of potentiality? How can we pull more? Because we're creating things, we're pulling things out, but some things we don't really want. But we have a belief system that's interfering. So the idea is that, of course, every one of our thoughts is interfering with the field of potentiality. We can have conflicting thoughts. Anybody? Yes? So, for instance, I'm affirming that I have this, but there's a little part of me over here that goes, well, what if I don't get it? Okay? That's a conflicting thought. We're throwing out these thoughts into the field of potentiality, and the field of potentiality does not know what to do with us. It's bouncing off the wall because we have different thoughts. I went to a Debbie Ford seminar that was called, it was the Dark Night of the Soul. And I had to write down an intention. My intention was to be very successful in a business of being a prayer practitioner, because we could do workshops and classes and have one-on-one counseling. And but in this imagery, in this meditation, I was to find out how I was self-sabotaging myself. None of you ever self-sabotage, so just, don't pay attention to this part. But in this meditation of what my self-saboteur was, I got this 8-year-old that was doing this between me and my intention. There was this part of me that was walking back and forth. And my 8-year-old self said, no, if we're successful, we'll be just like Dad. We'll be so busy that we'll be ignored, and we won't get to have the attention and love that we, as our inner children, need to have, right? Do you get that? We can get so busy that we neglect parts of ourselves. We all have inner children. At least that's what my therapist said, and I believed her, because I have all these little parts of me. Anyway, when I realized that there was a self-saboteur in me that said, no, I don't want us to be successful because we're going to be like Dad. And once I had that come to light, I was able to say, no, but thank you, little one, because I understand why you would say that. And we are going to do things differently. We're going to take time. We can be successful, but we won't necessarily be like our dad, because in my mind, the only thing that I had as a picture of success was my dad, who was so busy that he couldn't spend time or didn't spend time with his kids. So that's an example of conflicting thoughts. And you've also heard me at times say there's this thought where I have money. I'm so happy and grateful that I have money. And then I have another part of me that goes, money causes misery. I'm not going to retell that story. Or I have the love of my life. And then I have another thought, love hurts. So I have conflicting thoughts. And the FP, the field of potentiality, doesn't know what to do with it, because it's bouncing off the walls. It can't bring me because I'm not laser focused. It's about having a laser focus. And when those thoughts, fears, and doubts come, cancel, stop, and back on my point on laser beam. The only reason that Jesus could walk on water, and she says this in the book, is because he knew he could. He didn't have any thought otherwise. Not that page. Try this one. The only reason Jesus could walk on water was because 100% of his thoughts believed he could. He had overcome the world's thought system that says only an idiot would be so stupid to step out of the boat. He didn't have one doubt, not a single thought in his consciousness that didn't fully believe it. So this is our charge, that we have an opportunity to laser beam. We have that power. In the 12 powers of unity, there's one called will. I can put my focus on something and do it more and more intently. Like Jesus says, in the Bible it says, ask in prayer, believing you shall receive. The word ask in Aramaic does not mean ask. It means claim and demand. You have the right to command your own life, to direct your life. You're not asking for something. You're telling the universe, because it's sitting there, it's receptive, it's responsive, it's ready for its, what is it that you're having? I can deliver in the cosmic kitchen. All we have to do is to focus our attention. Now, I don't have an abracadabra magic wand. However, I have my Einstein wands. On page 63 and 64, you too can create these Einstein, yes, we're a little, okay, honey, we're going forward. Okay, shh. See? They're settling down because I'm giving them instruction. Now I'm going to think of something that really bothers me. Energy closing off. Now I'm going to think of something joyful that makes me happy. And all I'm doing is thinking. I can direct my energy, and so can you. These are my Einstein wands. You too can do this energy experiment. Gives you the directions on page 63 and 64. It's fun. I've had these for about 10 years when I first taught this class. So use your energy. Experiment number 3 is that you're an energy field that can direct your energy. Experiment number 4, which was the abracadabra principle, is saying that just by the power of your thoughts, you can set an intention to draw forth something within the next 48 hours. Okay, so you're part magician and you're full magician, and now you're a scientist testing out your magician self. So in closing, I have to share with you that I get these things called notes from the universe that some of you might get by Mike Dooley. And it's, you can go to tut.com, TUT.com, and Monday through Friday, I get little notes from the universe. Of all things, the note that I received on Friday said, "Remember, Liz, I agree to be the magic. You agreed to be the magician. Let's do this. Signed, the universe." I got God bumps when I said that. I'm like, and then it says, "P.S. Standing by, Liz. Make your wish. Think your thoughts. Show up. And get ready to travel the USA with your love in your RV." Because I had given it the intention a long time ago, so it had that in the P.S. But remember that the universe is the magic. You are the magician. So abracadabra, I will create as I speak. So let us speak peace. Let us speak love. And let us speak life. And so it shall be. And so it is.